sticky spins with tablets. You want flex with camera flashing. I think they back, no, it's natural. And I think you made for the life of me. We renegade, yeah. I got you. Moonlight, you're my starlight. I need you. You all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating you. You're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me.
Hello, Rocky Mountain College and others watching and viewing. This is your host, Darius Henderson, and this is my No Shame Mental Games podcast. And with that being said, let's get straight to it. Let's turn up the volume and silence the shame. This week's mental health topic focus will be roommates and just how the whole pandemic and COVID has affected our mental health. With that being said, I have two special guests. I have Caden and Elijah. I'm going to briefly just talk about just my personal experiences with just roommates and how that's kind of affected my mental health. Given that this is my 5th year of school, and I kind of been in South Carolina, Arizona, and here. So I had quite a few different roommates, and I just know just when you just have different roommates, different personalities. Given that sometimes your roommates respect your space, sometimes they don't. And for me, I think my first time I kind of realized that roommates played a role in just how you feel and like your well-being is that. I was a guy who liked to keep my room, I like stuff to be a certain way, like it to be clean. And, when you have a roommate, you gotta share the same space. So after a long day of practice, schoolwork, I want to come home to a clean room. And I'll come home and it wouldn't be the way I left it. So that would make me kind of upset. I'm kind of worried about cleaning up a mess. So now my mind's kind of clogged up and, congested. And then the next year I got a great roommate, and he was kind of the opposite. He kind of helped my mental health as far as just like whenever I was tired or feeling down, hey D, like you good, bro? Like, or you bring me some food when I was hungry, or just the small things that kind of help my overall well-being. So with that being said, I'll start with you. Like, do you mind kind of maybe expressing how just roommates, given that we are kind of all closed in together, given that the pandemic is going on? Do you mind explaining?
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with what you're saying, that, roommates affect how you feel, especially after a long day of classes. Like, you want to come back and maybe you just want to hang out and chill, but you got that one crazy roommate or something. But yeah, personally for me, like my first year, I just had one roommate, and I knew him from back in high school.
Nice.
We were teammates, and so we had a pretty good understanding of each other. And my second year here, it kind of opened up, and went from having one roommate to 3 more roommates.
3?
Yeah.
So it's total of 4?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, and it changes, you're not just thinking about one other person now. Like, you've got that good understanding with one person, now you've got to open that up to 3 people, 3 completely different people.
Right.
And that was tough for sure, like just coming back after a long day, and everyone has their own thing going on, different schedules even.
Right.
And it was tough, but I think this year we finally got it figured out. I'm rooming with teammates of mine, so we've all got the same schedule pretty much. When the stresses of like our season come up and stuff, like we're all on the same page. We're all motivated to get after it and push each other and succeed.
Nice. Do you maybe think that maybe if you might have had someone who wasn't on your team who you're an athlete, so I feel like, your schedule's kind of rigorous. Maybe you had someone who wasn't an athlete and they just want to just always kind of like party, stay up late. Do you think that might have played a role in you kind of being like more upset or more like antsy maybe?
Oh, absolutely. It boils down to communication, but at the end of the day, like, you don't want to tell someone else what to do. Like,
right.
You just kind of have to respect it. And
it's that fine line of saying, okay, when do I speak up or when do I let him be him? Because we all are own person, our own unique way.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I think like when it gets to that point, then you got to look at other options that you can take. Like maybe if the healthiest thing is moving out, then maybe you got to take that option.
Nice. Okay, what about you? What's your experience as far as roommates and?
My freshman year, that could be an entire podcast.
Oh man.
My freshman year is brutal. I'm from Arizona, so me and this lineman that we didn't get along in high school decided to be roommates just so we didn't have the homesickness, so
right.
we could have someone that reminded. But even if you ask anyone back freshman year, he was probably the worst man ever.
Jeez, I don't.
But I don't mean to trash talk him or anything about that, but I was always the team mom or Mr. Clean or Mr. Organizer or anything like that. But it's just always a challenge to always try and keep the dorm situation always clean and stuff, especially after my leg injury. I was bedridden the whole time, so having a dirty roommate like that, it did a heavy toll on my mental health, and trying to keep everything clean even when
You
I
have
wasn't
one leg.
supposed to get out of the
Sheesh.
bed. So I did take the healthy route and moved to another roommate, two
Nice.
also football players, just to keep the same schedule. And they were the best things about my freshman year. And then stepping to sophomore year, I stepped away from the football program just because of the leg injury and focused on track.
Nice.
So I couldn't get the same football players because it was different schedules and everything
Right,
like that.
right.
So I got paired with randos.
Okay.
And it was 2 golf players and a kid just living his life. And it was definitely a different take with having a teammate to always be there and always have your schedule like that. And then with this year, I matched with the same kid I roommate freshman year, and we've been best friends since freshman year. And it's definitely a huge difference
Nah, for
having
sure.
a close friend rather than randos or a person that just simply reminds you of home. So.
Nah, I agree, because this year, this last year too, I had Clay, my friend EP, I have Nick this year, and they all been great roommates as far as just like making sure that if we got practice at a certain time, hey, we got practice, you know what I mean? Like, oh wow, like I maybe we forgot if I had someone else because we got the same schedule. But you guys brought up a great point as far as just like when to know or make a healthy choice for yourself, knowing, okay, maybe I should get out. So like, when do you guys when is the time when that time comes? Like what exactly, like, okay, this is it. I need to maybe explore other options.
Well, in my case, I'm usually a person that tries to avoid conflict, try to make everyone happy and stuff. So in my experience, I took way too long to separate from roommates. I was at the point where I was about to get physical because it was just, he was pushing me to the wall. So if anything, the healthy point is just seeing the red flags immediately, and it's your choice if you want to stay with that roommate or be on your own, because I know everyone in college is stressed, have their own sports, have their own worries, their own background, that we don't know what's going on until we ask. But at that point, all that really matters is your personal health. So as soon as you believe that your mental health or your happiness or anything like that is going to be affected in order to keep the other roommate happy, then that's the point where you have to.
Nice. What about you, Ian?
Yeah, no, I mean, just following what Caden said, I think, you gotta, it's important to place others first, but like, and you gotta compromise with them and with roommates, but you really have to have the discernment and know what to compromise on. Like, as soon as you start compromising on things that are integral to your identity and your own health, then that's where you kind of, you gotta step in and be selfish in that regard, and be like, this isn't healthy for
No,
me.
yeah. I agree totally. I feel like that's big just as far as mental health awareness, just knowing your triggers and just setting boundaries for yourself and just knowing, okay, this is for me. I know it's best for me. Like, I'm not going to try to stick it out and make it strong. Like, I need to remove myself so I can have a better overall well-being. And with that being said, let's kind of shift the topic over just to the COVID and the whole pandemic. I know we're all in uncertainty times right now, given that we have never experienced this, So we're going to tell our kids in a couple of years, like, hey, like, we survived the COVID. So, as far as when that first hit, what were some of you guys' feelings or emotions, and how did you guys kind of manage it?
For me, like, it was all about faith and just, trusting that there's a higher purpose to everything, and that, while there is a lot of like evil and just darkness that is screaming at us, whether that's through the news, media, whatever, like, there is still good out there, there's still good people, and there's always a brighter side and a silver lining to the situation. So just like strive and look for that.
No, that's an interesting perspective, because a lot of times people don't even take that perspective given everything that's going on. Because like me personally, I'm like, man, I can't go to the gym, I can't work out. So I was the opposite of you, but just hearing that different perspectives, because it's definitely a light at the end of the tunnel. What about
Definitely.
you?
I wish I had the more optimistic view.
Yeah, I'm about to say, like, man, I got to get you down on that.
No, I took more of the pessimism that there's always worse situations out there instead of mine, so I shouldn't complain. I should still keep going. I know back in whenever last year, when the whole COVID thing struck and schools started closing down, business, hotels, I still couldn't believe like it was that serious. And then as soon as I went back to Arizona, just the 3 months I was there, Governor Ducey enforced a 2 1-month lockdowns. So again, not being able to work out, not being able to go to the store, not being able to do anything, it drove me insane and drove my family insane. I know I like to be on a constant schedule, but being forced to just stay in one place, it's definitely a struggle. But
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, man, I appreciate you guys coming on and giving you guys a perspective on that.
Yeah.
Given that, you guys got a busy schedule, we got finals coming up, and you guys made time. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
But at the closing of each show, we give a shout out to someone we miss, love, or someone we appreciate, or someone you might think doesn't give enough credit. And we got to put on the RMC chains and look in the camera, and we shout them out. So Elijah, you can take this one, and then you can take these.
appreciate it.
Y'all had to battle all now. Okay, your turn now. Yeah, that's funny.
I'll go. Yeah, I'd like to just send a shout out to my family back in Whitefish. Love and miss you guys, and I'll see you real soon. Also, my grandparents back in Tennessee who are battling COVID right now. I'm praying for you guys, for your health, and hope to see you guys soon.
Nice.
And then most definitely a shout out would be both my mom and dad. I know in 24 hours I'll see you guys, but it's gonna be a long flight. And if anything, shout out to all of us for surviving this whole thing. So
True.
we just gotta keep our head up and just keep surviving this.
Nice, man. I want to give a shout out to you guys again for coming on. And I want to give a shout out to all my roommates that I had. I want to give a shout out to DA, Juan, DP, Nick, Clay, Treetop, AB, all my close friends that, I created a bond with. And I feel like being in college, if I ever live with you, I just feel like we're going to be boys or we're going to be close, forever, because you create that bond, that everyday bond. So shout out to all my roommates, man. I appreciate y'all. And once again, appreciate y'all for coming on. And I'll see you guys next week.